Welcome back to Reality Glitch, where we lovingly poke holes in ancient narratives with our well-sharpened quill of skepticism. Today's biblical blockbuster, Noah's Ark and the Great Flood. A divine intervention to cleanse a wicked world with a very, very thorough washing. Or perhaps an early example of divinely questionable crisis management with some truly mind-boggling logistical oversights. Let's set sail on this epic tale, shall we? So the story goes, humanity had become irredeemably wicked. So wicked, in fact, that the Almighty decided a global reboot via catastrophic flood was the only viable solution. Talk about a performance review. One man, Noah, found grace in the eyes of the Lord. His mission, should he choose to accept it, and he didn't really have much choice, did he, build a colossal wooden box, an ark, to specifications divinely dictated. 300 cubits long, 50 wide, 30 high. That's roughly the size of a decent-sized cargo ship, built by one family, presumably without Home Depot or power tools nearby. And then comes the truly ambitious part, the passenger list. Noah, his wife, his 3 sons and their wives, a cozy family outing. Plus, of every living thing of all flesh, 2 of every sort shalt thou bring into the ark to keep them alive with thee. They shall be male and female. Every single species. Lions and lambs, pythons and parakeets, spiders and sloths. Oh, and 7 pairs of clean animals and birds for good measure, and presumably for post-flood barbecues and sacrifices. The mind boggles at the zoological wrangling involved. Did Noah have a divine Pokemon Go app to catch 'em all? Let's just pause and appreciate the sheer scale of this collection drive. How did Noah convince, say, a pair of highly territorial Siberian tigers to trek to Mesopotamia? Or the penguins from Antarctica to waddle their way over? Did the kangaroos hop across continents? Did the sloths start their journey several centuries in advance? And how did he differentiate male from female for the more ambiguously gendered insects or worms? The divine instructions here seem a tad light on the practical how-to. Imagine boarding day. The queue must have been epic. Excuse me, Mr. T-Rex, could you please not eat the fluffy bunnies in line ahead of you? And the accommodations. One ark housing millions of species. Did the lions have a separate, soundproofed carnivore deck? Were the termites given specific, non-structural wood to munch on? What about the animals requiring vastly different climates? The Arctic fox and the desert tortoise sharing a bunk? And ventilation? Let's just say the air quality after a few weeks with that many animals in a confined, unair-conditioned space would have been divinely fragrant. And food. Of all food that is eaten, thou shalt gather it to thee, and it shall be for food for thee and for them. For over a year, according to some interpretations of the flood's duration, the sheer volume of food required is astronomical. What did the anteaters eat? The koalas with their highly specific eucalyptus diet? Did Noah plant a hydroponic eucalyptus grove on board? And who was on cleanup duty after the elephants? The logistics planning for this catering and sanitation operation makes a modern cruise ship look like a rowboat picnic. Then the floodgates of heaven open, and the fountains of the great deep burst forth. Rain for 40 days and 40 nights. The waters cover the highest mountains. For months, this wooden box, crammed with a stressed, seasick, and probably very hungry menagerie, bobs along on a global ocean. How did they all survive the storms, the diseases that would inevitably spread, and the sheer boredom? And crucially, How did the freshwater fish survive in a suddenly very salty global ocean? Or the saltwater fish in diluted waters? Details, details. Eventually, the waters recede, the ark lands, the animals disembark, and then what? How do 2 of each, or 7 pairs of some, repopulate an entire planet with severe inbreeding issues? How do specialized species find their way back to their original, now devastated habitats across vast oceans? The ecological reset button seems to have a few bugs. And where did all that water go? Did it just soak back into the ground, or did the firmament develop a really good drainage system? So, the Great Flood and Noah's Ark. A divine cleansing, a testament to faith and obedience, or a Bronze Age myth, a powerful story to explain catastrophic local floods, later scaled up to global proportions to teach a moral lesson about wickedness and divine retribution. As a literal account of global history and biology, it raises more questions than it answers. Questions that make geologists, biologists, and zookeepers scratch their heads in unison. Perhaps the glitch isn't in the story itself, but in our insistence on reading an ancient mythological narrative as a literal scientific textbook. It's a fascinating tale, rich in symbolism, but as a blueprint for surviving a global catastrophe with the entire planet's biodiversity in your backyard, well, let's just say Noah would have needed more than just a big boat. A floating zoo on a flooded planet? Divine plan? Or tall tale? What parts of the Noah's Ark story do you find most creatively interpreted? Float your thoughts into the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep questioning the seemingly unquestionable with us at Reality Glitch.